Dear children, today let us go to the next topic in biology in 10th standard, that is life process. So what is life process? Before going to this chapter, let us try to understand what is life. So life is nothing but a series of biochemical reactions. When an organism is living means many functions are taking place in the body of that particular living organism. So what are these functions? When a living thing is living in the sense, many functions are taking place. So such as that is intake of food, digestion, respiration, excretion, reproduction and so on. So all these are collectively called life process. So in this chapter, let us learn some of the body functions that take place in the body of an organism. The first one, for an organism to live, it needs food. So what is food? Food is a substance that provides energy to an organism. So different living things obtain different food in different methods. The food for a lion may not be the food for a camel. The food for a snake may not be the food for a frog, like that. So anyhow, every organism, every living thing, it needs food in one or the other form. So it nourishes the body and then it provides energy and it carries out many functions in our body, especially providing energy, giving energy for the different body functions and then for the proper growth of the body. For all these things, an organism or a living thing need food. See how then organisms obtain their food. Different organisms obtain their food by different methods. The mode of getting food by an organism is called nutrition. Now let us come to the plant, children. So plants are so living things, They grow, they reproduce, they respire. So therefore, to carry out their body functions, they need food. So how do they get food? Children, you have studied in your lower class that plants prepare their own food. So during a process called photosynthesis, right? So the plants prepare their own food. That means they are capable of synthesizing the materials which are necessary for their body by themselves. So this process is called photosynthesis. This mode of preparing food by themselves is called autotrophic nutrition. Therefore, the plants are said to be autotrophs. So what are autotrophs then? Autotrophs are those organisms which prepare their own food. The best example for that one is plants and then blue-green algae. In a similar manner, what about the animals there? See, the animals, in contrast to the plants, they cannot prepare their own food. So, they directly or indirectly depend upon the plants to get their own food. So therefore, this mode of nutrition is called heterotrophism and therefore the animals are said to be heterotrophs. So heterotrophic nutrition, it's a type of nutrition where the organisms or the living things, they obtain food or they get food by plants directly or indirectly. Okay, children, in nutrition mainly there are two types. So one is autotrophic nutrition, so which is found in plants, and then heterotrophic nutrition, which is found in the animals. So apart from these two, there is another type of nutrition where the organisms, they employ different methods to obtain their food. For example, you have seen the bread molds, or so let me see the mushrooms. I have seen mushrooms, I think. How these mushrooms get their food? Where these mushrooms are found? Normally they are found on the dead and decaying material. So here, see the mushrooms or bread molds, what we call, or the yeast. So these organisms, they are neither plants nor animals. Then that means they neither prepare their own food or unlike that of the plants, they won't depend upon the plants indirectly or directly for their food. Then how do they get their food? So when they grow on the dead and decaying organisms, they break down the organic material outside, they simplify the substances. These simplified organic substances are absorbed by these organisms. That means they absorb the nourishment. They draw the nourishment from the decaying organic matter. Such a type of nutrition is called saprophytic nutrition. So therefore, the so-called fungi, so where these mushrooms and then bread molds and yeast and so on included, so they are called fungi. So therefore, the fungi are said to be saprophytes. The mode of nutrition is called saprophytes. Now, one more nutrition is there. For example, lice, which dwells on our hair, or the tapeworm, which is found in the digestive system of man. So how they live? They get food from the other organisms. That means they always depend on the other organisms to get their food. So such type of nutrition is called parasitic mode of nutrition. Therefore, they are said to be the parasites. Sir, you may ask, are they parasites or only the animals? No, there are some parasites which are found in plants also. For example, Cuscuta. So it's a twine-like structure, a plant which absorbs the nourishment from the other plant. The roots get penetrate deep into the stem of another plant, and then Cuscuta draws the nourishment. It always depends on other plant to get the nutrition. Such type of nutrition is called parasitic mode of nutrition. So then, in the nutrition, there are two main types: autotrophic nutrition, heterotrophic nutrition. If you come to the heterotrophic nutrition, there are two more types which are said to be the saprophytic mode of nutrition and then parasitic mode of nutrition. Children, now let us come to the first type of nutrition, which is called autotrophic nutrition. Where we find this autotrophic nutrition? It is found in green plants. So green plants are such wonderful creatures on the earth which are capable of synthesizing their own food. So how do they synthesize their food? Is it interesting or not? They prepare their own food. They prepare the material which they need by themselves. How? It is by a function called photosynthesis. So this you have already studied in your lower classes. Then what is photosynthesis? The definition for photosynthesis you already know. Photosynthesis, it is a function or it's a process where the green plants absorb sun energy or they trap sun energy, and then they use carbon dioxide and water, and then they convert these inorganic materials into organic substance, so called food, that is called glucose. The equation is displayed on the screen. So this is a wonderful process that takes place in the plants. So in photosynthesis, how this particular process will take place? Photosynthesis mainly involves three steps. The first step is absorption or trapping of the sunlight by the chlorophyll. This is the first thing that is going to happen. So then the second one is carbon dioxide, it get reduced to glucose. That means carbon dioxide and water, they will combine to form a organic substance which is called glucose. This is a reduction process. And the third one is the liberation of oxygen. So these are the three main steps which are involved in the photosynthesis. Actually, it's a very complicated process. It involves a series of reactions where different substances form in the cyclic process that you are going to study in the higher class. Now you just remember these three steps first. So then, following these three steps, the green plants prepare or synthesize the food they wanted, and then it will be stored in a different form in different parts of the plant body.